What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. CFCGP here with yet another video. We are getting closer and closer to Chelsea versus Man City, the first real match of the season after a long summer for what it feels like. But before we get into the games, we still have the transfer window to talk about. And over the last 48, 72 hours, there has been a lot of stuff going on in the world of Chelsea. Two main topics, of course, are João Felix and Victor Osimhen. Both deals will require Chelsea players to go the other way. It seems with Conor Gallagher potentially going to Atletico Madrid. Gallagher had been waiting in Madrid for about 5 days, waiting for the transfer of Samu Omaridan to come over to Chelsea. That was nixed. João Felix, as of last weekend, was Chelsea's main target, and it appears currently that there are some negotiations happening between Chelsea directors, Chelsea ownership, and Jorge Mendes, João Felix's agent. So where do we stand today? And it is Thursday morning in the United States, so there hasn't been too much leaked. It seems like there is still a pretty big valuation difference in between what Chelsea want to pay and what Atletico Madrid are willing to sell for. And this is leaving Conor Gallagher's future in the balance. If you watch any of my other videos, I think you can tell by now that I think João Felix would be a great addition. I'm in the sense where João Felix just is a floor raiser to this team. You all saw Real Madrid's bench the other day. You all saw their starting 11. There is never too much room for quality players. So that's why I'm in on João Felix coming. We'll see what happens over the course of this weekend. It appears that the last couple of days were focused heavily on Osimhen's deal, while João Felix was kind of being negotiated in the background. But I expect João Felix to be the main talking point leading up into that first match against Manchester City. Victor Osimhen. A couple of reports have come out in the last 24 hours or so that states that the deal could be getting closer, moving Romelu Lukaku and another player over to Napoli in exchange for Victor Osimhen. What does that mean just in total? Victor Osimhen's a great player. His ability would be desperately needed and utilized by Enzo Maresca. I think his poaching ability in the box is just fantastic, right? So let's see if that one gets over the line. There also is a bunch of outgoings required over the next 20 or so days until the transfer window ends. At 16 days, actually, as of this point. So what will it be? There's a lot of guys that need to go. There's Chalobah, there's Washington, there's Casade, there's Kepa, there's Lukaku, and there's so many more that could possibly move if these Victor Osimhen and João Felix move transpires. Could we see a Noni Madueke departure? Is Raheem Sterling somebody that could move on? There's a lot that it has yet to be written, and I would really implore the sporting directors to hurry up, because as we inch closer and closer with 43 players in our squad currently, we need to get a move on. If they want to get down to the 23, 24 squad player mark that Matt Law had reported earlier this week, a lot of work that needs to be done. And especially with those players that would be typically first-team players but have been banished to the developmental squad. Broja, David Datro Fofana, Chalobah, these are guys that will want their future resolved, because having them play with the U21s and practice with the development squad just is not a good fit, in my opinion. So as we continue to look at the transfer window and how everything is breaking down, a lot of these things will resolve themselves over the next 16 days, so I expect it to be a very frequent Chelsea news breakdown. Looking ahead, though, looking ahead to actual football, we need to talk about where we think Chelsea will line up and how they will play against Manchester City. So I would expect a few different things. I think Nico Jackson had about 40 minutes in that last preseason friendly to kind of get his legs underneath him. I would expect him to start. I would expect Raheem Sterling to start on the left wing. I would expect Cole Palmer to start on the right wing. Then, as your attacking eights, I would do Christopher Nkunku as well as Enzo Fernandez. I think those two have looked very, very comfortable in those little half spaces. And Nkunku playing a little bit further up as a second striker, and Enzo sort of playing as that metronome, sort of around the top of the box, delegating passes and switching the play and whatnot. A little bit further back, those other midfield spots, including an inverting midfielder here, right? So we're talking about Romeo Lavia, who I think has earned this start based off of his extraordinary play in preseason. And inverting, because Reece James is not in, I would put Malo Gusto as that inverting fullback. Now, we did notice against Inter Milan that Chelsea did not always invert the midfielder. They had him holding the width, and I think that's super important when you have Cole Palmer in the match, right? Cole Palmer wants to tuck inside, and you're going to need some of that wide presence. So Malo Gusto could fit in that role perfectly. If you had Noni Madueke out there, you would definitely just hold that inverted space, right? Because Noni's going to play a touchline winger, and Cole, that's not really his game. He likes to get inside. He likes to cut in and get off a shot, get off a pass and whatnot. So I would expect Palmer to start, and I would expect Malo Gusto to sort of be that inverted midfielder, but also get out and hold the width against Manchester City. Then the other fullback and left center back, I would go Marc Cucurella. I think Cucurella has done a very good job this summer. I think he will be the first choice of that position. I would not be surprised if we saw Badiashile, just by simply he has had more time to integrate into the team. Levi Colwill will play center back, and Wesley Fofana will play right center back. So Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana will be the first choice center backs this season. I'm very excited to see how those guys acclimate to each other. There's no Thiago Silva to bail them out, so they have to kind of figure it out on the fly and grow that partnership. There's a lot invested in those guys, so hopefully they can get that all sorted. What do I think about the match entirely? Chelsea did lose 4-2 in preseason against Manchester City, but I think that when you're going to talk about a real Premier League game, Chelsea seems to always step up to the competition. I would expect you to see a lot of the tactics that Enzo Maresca has deployed in preseason, the counter-pressing, making long, hard runs, utilizing the wing play, and then also using intricate passes to work in those half spaces to get Nkunku, to get Jackson, to get Palmer some opportunities. So, as always, this has been an interesting transfer window to say the least. However, it's not over. There's a lot to come, but the matches are coming thick and thin. We got to get ready for them, and we got to get this squad size trimmed down to a point where Maresca has more time to work with the players that will actually be playing. As always, I want to give a quick shout out to our show sponsor, Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea. Simon does a fantastic job every day putting out great content for you, the Chelsea fan, whether that's podcasts, tactical overviews, a live blog aggregating all of the Chelsea transfer news and other news that you might want to find out. You can all find it there. So go to the link in the description below, and you can go ahead and click Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea. You can find that, subscribe. Excellent. And as always, we will be doing live watch-alongs on this channel throughout the season, covering every second of Chelsea football's actual matches, which I know we're all excited to see. So this Sunday at 10:15 Central Time in the U.S., that will be 4:15 in the U.K. You guys can come along and join me on a watch-along of this match. We've done an amazing job of getting a great community, a great base of chat, and a great conversation that happens throughout the match. So if you want to go ahead, you can go ahead and find it on my page in the live section. You can click notify me, and you'll get notified exactly when I go live. As always, guys, like, subscribe to the channel, comment, let me know what you guys think about these transfers coming up. All those comments are super important as well. I love hearing the feedback, but it's also great for the YouTube algorithm to get more people in and liking and viewing the content. So, as always, I want to thank you so much for joining me. We will be back with any breaking transfer news over the next 24 hours. If not, we will see you against Manchester City on Sunday. Thank you. Have a good night.